morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, we're going to be looking at another new Tag Team GX. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen all the ones from Team Up, and now the ones from the next sets have started leaking over in Japan. We looked at Sylveon and Gardevoir Tag Team GX the other day, and now it is the turn of Zoroark and Greninja. Or actually, to be more precise, Greninja and Zoroark. So, it's coming out in Night Unison. We did see the pack for this a little while ago. We knew it was coming. We knew it was going to be a Darkness type Pokemon, but we need to know what it does. And thanks to the lovely 2new1223 over on Twitter, we absolutely do. Now, weirdly enough, being a Darkness type means it's weak to fighting, which is really interesting because that is the same weakness we see on Eevee and Snorlax Tag Team GX and on Pikachu and Zekrom Tag Team GX. So yeah, fighting type right now quite good. And look, with all the Buzzwole running around, this is not necessarily the best weakness to have. Although with 250 HP, you are out of range of a Buzzwole when you got 4 prizes remaining, just so long as they don't play a Diancie Prism Star or a Choice Band, which obviously they're going to. Resistance to Psychic, really nice. You add it to the 250 HP, and something like Garbodor is just a mile away from actually getting a KO on you here. Retreat cost of 2, less than ideal because you can't use a skateboard, but then again, the attacks have a 2 energy, so I'm sure we can live with it. And being a Darkness type means you're not hitting much for weakness. You got things like Dawnwings, Necrozma, and Bayonet, which is nice, but that's pretty much about it, to be honest. Being a Darkness type, we've got some tricks. The best one is probably Devoured Field, but we'll get into some others as we go along. So starting off then with the main attack, what does it do? Well, it's for 1 Darkness, 1 Colorless Energy, and it does 30 damage, plus 30 for each Darkness Energy attached to all of your Pokemon. So this is one of those quite simply, where if you can get enough energy on the field fast enough, you are just going to smash absolutely everything. And clearly here, we need to go ahead and draw a little bit of a parallel with Darkrai GX. Now, this will actually be released, it's not in Team Up, it's in our May set, which means we actually will still have Darkrai GX at least for a little while with this next year. And Darkrai GX has the Restoration ability. If it's in the discard, you can put it on the bench with an energy from your discard pile. That's very, very nice indeed. Now, the attack here is extremely similar to Darkrai EX, which is still legal in the expanded format, but it's not legal in the standard format at the moment. Darkrai from Breakpoint for a double colorless energy did 20 plus 20 for each Darkness energy. This does 30 plus 30 for each Darkness energy. But it is worth bearing in mind that this is a Tag Team GX, so it will be giving up free prizes. Now, the energy here, we've actually got a bunch of options we can take advantage of. Oh, also I should mention while we're here, do remember that we're getting Black Market Prism Star by the time this comes out, which means that you will be able to reduce it down to 2 prizes if this is in play and you've got a Darkness energy attached to Greninja and Zoroark when it gets KO'd. Your opponent can just replace the stadium, and if they do, they do. But if they don't, you turn it into a 2 prize Pokemon rather than a free prize. So how do we get all this energy on? Well, if you head into the expanded format, you've got the combination of Dark Patch and Max Elixir, which is really good. There is an argument that Darkrai from Breakpoint, the EX, was good but then stopped being good, and might the same thing happen here. You've got to remember you've got a lot more HP and you do a significant amount more damage, so just because Darkrai fell out of favour doesn't necessarily mean that this will as well. But if we want to stick in the standard format, we've got the aforementioned Darkrai GX. And don't forget about Darkrai Prism Star. Now, Darkrai Prism Star is awesome. I adore this here. The ability says that you can play it from your hand onto your bench and attach 2 Darkness Energy from your hand to it. But if you can pick it up, maybe with an ace roller if it's damaged, or otherwise something like a super scoop up, then what you can actually do is play this down with 2 energy attached to it, and then pick it up with something like super scoop up, and then play it down with another 2 energy attached to it. Obviously, you will have to move the energy off in the meantime, otherwise you're just kind of picking it up and putting it down again, and that would be a bit silly. And I'm really thinking something like Energy Switch here, because remember that Greninja and Zoroark attacks for 2 energy. That's a little bit of a pain here, because you can only attach 1 energy per turn, but you've got stuff like Darkrai GX and like Darkrai Prism Star that do attach extra energy, but only to them. So an Energy Switch here would really, really help to get yourself up and rolling. So that's quite nice. But don't be sleeping on Incineroar GX. Now, I know that Incineroar GX is a Stage 2, but then again, you're rolling with a basic. We can afford to play a Stage 2. Vikavolt been fine, so why would this not be fine? And what's awesome about Incineroar is that you've got the brilliant ability that says you can put 3 damage counters on it, and then search your deck for 3 basic darkness and attach them to it. Now, 3 basic darkness in terms of Zoroark and Greninja and Zoroark, that's 90 extra damage. And you can do this the next turn, or you can do this on multiple Incineroar. It's really quite nice. But another great thing we've got for darkness decks at the moment is Nanu. Well, we will have by the time this comes out. And Nanu is a supporter card that lets you swap any Pokemon on your field with a basic darkness Pokemon from your discard pile. And this is a basic darkness Pokemon. So you could use this to get the energy onto Incineroar and then swap it out for something like an Eviltal, which only gives up 1 prize and also has a resistance to darkness, which is what you're generally going to be weak to. So that's kind of fun. Or you could use this to swap into something like a Guzzlord, which is a basic but has a huge amount of HP. It's really, really good for getting your energy out. Arguably a little bit awkward, but still great for getting your energy out. And between Darkrai Prism Star and Darkrai GX and Incineroar and things like that, there are ways to get the energy out. And then, of course, you've got Naganadel. Naganadel, once during your turn, attach a basic energy from your discard to Naganadel. Now, it's 1 per turn and it might be a little bit slow, etc. It's not the 3-in-1 go you get from Incineroar or the 2-in-1 go you get from Darkrai Prism Star. And it's a Stage 1, it's not a basic like Darkrai GX, but you get an extra energy per turn. Now, it's not been great with stuff like Raichu, which does more damage based on how much energy is on all of your Pokemon. But then again, Raichu doesn't do quite enough damage. It's 20 plus 20, not 30 plus 30, and it's a Stage 1. I'm skeptical that this will be great with Naganadel because Raichu hasn't been. But I think with all of the tricks we've got to get energy onto the field, we've got a chance here, ladies and gentlemen. And then we've got the GX attack, which helps out a lot. Night Unison GX, yes, it's got the same name as the set, not the first time that's happened. 1 darkness, 1 colorless energy, and put 2 in any combination of darkness Pokemon GX or darkness Pokemon EX from your discard pile onto your bench. Now, quick side note here, this is like something like Ho-Oh or indeed Dragonite. Not the first time we've seen an ability like this, or an attack like this. It doesn't have to be a basic. Yeah, doesn't have to be a basic, which means you can get an Incineroar straight onto the bench, and then use the ability, which is crazy. If you've got at least 1 extra darkness energy attached to this Pokemon, so 2 darkness, 1 colorless, attach 2 energy from your discard pile to those Pokemon. And here, I am really thinking Incineroar GX, because you get them on the bench, there's 2 of them with 2 energy each, that's 4. Next turn, you use the ability on each of them, bearing in mind that attaches from the deck. That's 10 energy. 10 energy. That's 300 damage. I adore this, ladies and gentlemen. And I do think, even if you don't want to play Incineroar as a stage 2, and I can't be mad if you don't, the Darkness Pokemon you want from the discard, you want Incineroar. Now, feel free to play Nanu to swap it out for a non-GX afterwards, but you want energy on the field, and Incineroar's got an ability that gets free energy out of the deck and attached to it. If you can get an early GX attack here and get 2 Incineroar out from the discard, this is really quite fantastically great. So, we've got a really nice attack that does a whole bunch of damage. We've got plenty of ways to get energy onto the field. I mean, really here, it's got a bad weakness. It gives up free prizes. But other than that, the only real downside is you've got to get a second energy onto it. Because all of the ways we've got for accelerating energy accelerate to other Pokemon, not to this. But just play an energy switch or two, ladies and gentlemen, and that will fix that problem entirely. I know Darkrai fell out of favour, I know Raichu's never been particularly good, and I know that both of those Pokemon have functionally the same attack that this does. But they didn't have the Redonk GX attack, they didn't have Incineroar GX, and they didn't have 250 HP. I think there's a really good chance that this is an incredibly good Pokemon, and I'm going to be giving it 4 Wussies, and I'm well aware that in the future that might seem a little bit rude, but I'm willing to take that risk. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about this card, other than the beautiful Mitsuhiro Arita art, which is obviously beautiful. So let me know in the comment section, although do, of course, feel free to tell me how beautiful it is, that would be lovely. Let me know in the comment section, go nuts, ladies and gentlemen, but please do remember the rule, be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie. That's where I ramble about stuff. If you want to support the channel, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. There are bonus pods. And do check out twitch.tv/PTCGRadio for some live action. Oh yeah, and youtube.com/WassiePlays. That's my other channel. There's good stuff over there. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.